Bill Maher is being dragged on social media for breaking or crossing the picket lines of the WGA and everybody else, that the Actors Guild and everybody else that's on strike. And he knew that it would not land well, so he did have a statement. And here's his statement, and I'll read it directly. This is Bill Maher on Twitter. Real time is coming back. Unfortunately, sans writers or writing. It has been 5 months, and it is time to bring people back to work. The writers have important issues that I sympathize with, and I hope they are addressed to their satisfaction, but they are not the only people with issues, problems, and concerns. Fucking worker. Despite some, he didn't write that. Despite some assistance from me, much of the staff is struggling mightily. We all were hopeful this would come to an end after Labor Day, but that day has come and gone. And there still seems to be nothing happening. I love my writers. I am one of them, but I am not prepared to lose an entire year and see so many below the line people suffer so much. So he's doing it for the poor people. He's breaking a strike and saying, I'm doing it for the poors. Is that part of your bit? Is this a bit? I will honor the spirit, the intangible, imaginary thing that I'm calling the spirit of the strike by not doing a monologue, desk piece, new rules, or editorial, the written pieces that I am so proud of on Real Time. And I'll say it up front to the audience, the show I will be doing without my writers will not be as good as our normal show, full stop. But the heart of the show is an off-the-cuff panel discussion that aims to cut through the BS or bullshit and predictable partnership. And that will continue. The show will not disappoint. Look at Empire of Lies. This mofo Bill Maher should be boycotted and shamed every time he appears in public. What a disgusting scab. And that's what I'll do now. Just kind of show some of the reaction. After I show one of the bigger name reactions, who even got an article written about him because of his reaction to Bill Maher on Variety, Keith Olbermann. So Keith Olbermann, he's one of those people who tries to put his nose in everything, puts his nose here. Keith Olbermann slams this Variety. Keith Olbermann slams Bill Maher for resuming his show amid the strike. And here's the quote: without writers, the new weekly SCAB edition of Real Time will be 83 seconds long. As somebody who's known you since 1978, F you, Bill, you selfish and unfunny scumbag. That's the quote from Keith Olbermann. Like, Keith Olbermann is just such an unserious person. I can't unsee the way I knew him. I didn't know him in politics when I first heard of Keith Olbermann. He's so unserious. Even his picture, he looks like that's an unserious smile, like he's holding in a smirk. He's so unserious. But this Variety, they wrote a little piece on it. And this is the actual tweet that they wrote on. And he posted the article with the tweet. Without writers, the new weekly SCAB edition of Real Time with Bill Maher will be 83 seconds long in some Variety. Let's pull it up for a second. Here is Variety. Bill Maher plans to start HBO's Real Time without writers. A lot of people may not know all this stuff is written. This is why the late night talk shows went off the air. All those jokes, none of those people, they're just actors. They're the people delivering. Even to an extent, for example, my brother works for Chris Rock. He writes some of the jokes, and he has a team of writers. Comedians typically start out writing most of all of their jokes. Once they get big, they have a team of people. Kevin Hart, same way, has a team of writers. All right, so here, let's read just a little bit. Bill Maher will soon be operating by some new rules and not just the ones he makes up in the signature segment on his HBO show. The comedian and the commentary plans to restart production of Real Time on HBO without writers, the first of TV's phalanx of the late night host to try and do so despite the continuing Hollywood strike by the WGA SAG AFTRA. Real Time is coming back. Oh, I read that, so I don't need to read his comment. But that is, I think that's enough to read of this article. Because there was another one. Maybe if they have that same point here, I won't read the other one here. Okay, here it goes right here. TV late night programs continue to generate discussion and the threads of popular culture, but longer shows like NBC Saturday Night Live and Jimmy Kimmel Live remain dark, the more risk there is of viewers in the era of streaming video making permanent changes to their consumption habits. So maybe that's what Bill Maher is afraid of. Is he afraid that he's going to be out of rotation so long because the strike is so long? So why aren't these big name people? Why don't you put pressure more on the studios that aren't bowing to what the actors want? Why aren't you doing that? It's weird to me. It seems like to me, with the power that these actors have, if Tom Cruise's, the Will Smiths, and then as far as writers, the Steven Spielberg's, the Spike Lee's, if they came together and really was like, nah, this shit, like, couldn't they have some sort of power? The bigger name ones to say, hey, if this, come out and do something publicly to help these more smaller writers. But anyway, that is the final word on that one, on Bill Maher being a scab. I think, no, I did, that was the last thing. So I was going to show you a couple more comments. It says 50 Shades of We. Bill Maher is a scab, pass it on. And they have that with the SCAB, the ever-loving rat that depicts what a scab is, a rat, a scumbag. There's a lot of bad press on this guy. I'll just pull up a couple of tweets here. Here goes Ron Caplacone, friend of the show. Bill Maher is a scab, and he stepped in it with this tweet. We all had our shots, but damn, look at this as a shot. So, because he gets dragged completely by all the other writers. I know we're not supposed to be working during the strike, but I couldn't resist giving this a quick edit. Real Time is coming back, unfortunately. We all were hopeful this could come to an end, but I love to see people suffer, and I'll say it up front to the show audience, will not be good, full stop. The heart of the show is bullshit, and that will continue. The show will disappoint.